Okay, we'll call this Agenda and Priorities meeting for December 4th to order. It's 3 p.m. and I'll ask Councillor Messaros to please read the land acknowledgement.
The town of Innisfail acknowledges that we are meeting on Treaty 7 territory, the ancestral and traditional territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Kainai, Piikani, and Siksika, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and Stoney Nakoda First Nation. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on.
Okay, thank you very much. Going on to 2.1, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor Barclay, councillor request for in-camera discussion titled Stakeholder Relations as per the MGA, Section 197(2) and Freedom of Information and Privacy Act, Section 16(1)(b).
Okay, thank you. Could I please have someone make a motion that we adopt the agenda as amended? Councillor Bates?
Sure, I'll move the amended agenda.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. And then we'll move into our item for the day, 3.1, with Director Vickers and the budget deliberation follow-up.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Barclay. So we are just here to provide any further dialogue of the 2024 budget prior to Council considering final adoption. So Council administration participated in budget deliberations on November 21st and 22nd. The deliberations began with a review of the town's vision, mission, values, and the 4 pillars of the 22 to 25 strategic plan. And administration used the following budget objectives when developing the 2024 budget and presented to Council during these deliberations. So the first one was to advance Council's strategic priorities, and under that heading was to ensure housing diversity, meeting recreational needs, adding an economic development officer to town staff, sustainable asset management, and growing the energy hub, as well as to provide high-quality municipal services valued by the residents, to maintain competitive property taxes, as well as to protect the organizational health. Do you just want to go to slide 4? Perfect. Okay, so we'll just do the 2024 budget breakdown. So the revenue and expenses do equal out the same, which is $27,760,463, which means that we do have a contingency of $0. Within this budget, there is a 2.8% tax increase, a $9,728,000 capital budget with a 2024 projected reserve end balance of $12,093,353. As indicated in the budget, we are looking at a 2.8% tax increase. Of that, an operational tax rate increase is 0.8%, with our building debt capacity tax increase is 2%. We're seeing a total assessment in 2024 of just over $1.2 billion, which is an increase in assessment of $43,775,000. Residential assessment increase is sitting at 4.73, and a non-residential assessment increase is sitting at 0.769%. As we discussed previously, is that we are building debt capacity within this budget. So I did want to share this slide just to show the future tax increases going forward from 24 to 28 to incorporate building in that debt capacity to pay for that future aquatic center. So if you see by the end of 2027, we will be transferring $910,000 in the budget to pay for that future payment when it comes time to building that pool. Okay, this next slide just shows our past historical mill rate. So you can see that in the years 26, 27, 28, we maintained the same mill rate. There was a slight increase in 2019, and it was static for 3 years, and then 22 and 23. We like to look at the projected tax increases across the province just to we like to compare ourselves a little bit to where we're sitting. As you can see, there are some of these numbers that are quite high, with some of these actually already approved with the City of Calgary and the City of Lacombe. And currently, the town of Innisfail is the lowest number on that list. So we do feel that we're putting ourselves in a pretty good situation across the province. Within the budget, we are looking at some rate increases for utilities. So 3 different utility rates we're looking at increasing. So water is moving up to $3.01. That is an increase of 15 cents. Our sewer rate is projected to go up to $4. That's an increase of 20 cents. And we are looking to increase our sewer flat rate up to $12, which is an increase of $2 per month. Even with these increases, the utility bill comparison, we're still sitting exactly where we want to sit. So we can still see Bowden and Penhold just a little bit under us, and then Sylvan Lake, Black Falls, Olds, and Lacombe are over us. Those are with the current rates that we could find today, along with our proposed rates. So even with our new rates in today's climate, we're still sitting at a very low in the central Alberta area. The water rate forecast is projected to go up every year. This year we saw a 15-cent increase. That is part and parcel to the increase that we saw from the Water Commission. And in the years 25 to 28, we'll be looking at a 10-cent increase, including any other increases we get from the Commission. Part and parcel is we do want to see that transfer to reserve number go up, and you'll see in a slide, future slide, where that utility reserve is going to end up in a couple of years. The wastewater rate is also looking to increase by 20 cents each year from 2024 to 2028. As you can see in 2024, we're actually pulling from reserve. We're not actually transferring any money into reserve. So we'll be pulling money out of that reserve to help balance out that department. But you can see by 2028, we're actually putting $127,000 into reserves. For that utility reserve forecast, you can see the 3 different areas where money comes in. So that comes from the water department, the wastewater department, and the storm department. And you can see the estimated capital projects from the year 24 to 28 that are currently in our 10-year capital plan. And we can see that utility reserve balance that in 2028, we're actually sitting in a negative of $374,000. So we will be coming back to you in a future council meeting with a better outlook on this and where we need to be in the future so that we're not sitting in that negative, that we do need to make sure we maintain a balance in there for all our future projects going forward. We did add a list of our operating projects that are included in this budget. I won't go through them in the list, but they are all there for us. So, excuse me, initially when we came in through our budget deliberations, administration was looking at a 4.11 tax increase. Through council support and direction, we were asked to make some cuts to get it down to a more appropriate tax increase of 2.8. These are the areas that administration projected to or brought to council to cut, and which was agreed upon. So the first thing that was cut was the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan implementation costs of $30,000. The EDO new staff member at a partial year funding, so that is looking like, so we will not be hiring for that first quarter, and we will be looking to hire at that April 1st kind of target date. The library grass out front was cut. A section of the crosswalks to redo all the painting in the crosswalks was cut this year. However, it will not be able to be cut next year. We will have to put it in the budget next year. Downtown tactics was cut by $5,000 down to $10,000. Grants to others under economic development was also cut by $5,000. The arena sprinkler operating project, so that was actually a project that was carried over from this year. So what will happen is when I bring forward our fourth quarter financials and year-end surplus, we will be identifying the $18,000 for this arena sprinkler project and carrying that money forward to next year, so that it's not a canceled project. We're just repurposing the funds from this year as it's a carryover project. And as well as the Emergency Coordination Center exercise, we did cut that by $5,000 down to $5,000. And what that means is every 2 years we do have to have a full exercise as a way to prepare the municipality in the event of a major incident. So we did leave some dollars in there, and we'll come back to council if there's anything further needed there. Some of the increased areas in our budget, one of the big ones was increased RCMP charges. So we are seeing an increase to the budget for this year in the amount of just over $252,000. As well as increased electricity charges in the amount of $45,000, increased property insurance in the amount of $20,000. We do have that new staff in the amount of $80,000. COLA costs for all the town staff at $217,000. We are seeing that transfer to the capital budget in $1.5 million. This coincides with a capital project to build houses in Napoleon Meadows. As well, we do see that debt payment for the Southwest Industrial Loan payment sitting at $742,332. I did list on the next two slides each of the capital projects. So we first see the town office windows sitting at $50,000 and so on and so forth. Mayor Barclay, would you like me to go through these in detail, or is just doing a quick overview of the list good enough?
I don't know, what would everybody like? Nobody saying anything?
I'm okay. Like,
Councillor Heistad?
I only had a question about what we cut out, but as to everything else, it makes sense to me, like what you put down. The only question I have for yourself or CEO Becker would be community safety and well-being plan. I thought we applied for a grant. So and that's where, if you can clarify, CEO Becker, that would be great, just to remind me.
Sure.
Okay.
To Councillor Heistad, yeah, we did apply for a grant. We were not successful with that grant application. In a recent evaluation of phase one, we determined it would not be rolled out to administration, then onto council by the end of first quarter, so into March, April for the phase one. And then we would see what that looks like and then go from there. So that was one area we thought, let's do a little bit more analysis, I guess, of what's going to come at us with this, and then consider it based on that information.
Okay, no, then that's good. I'm good with it. I think that our committee can do some really good work anyways, with the RCMP and our peace officers, so thanks.
Keep going. Another one more. Okay. So our projected reserve balance for 2024 is $93,353. And that comes to, we are doing budgeted additions to the reserve in the amount of $1,850,000, but we are pulling out $2,560,000 to cover all of the capital projects this year. And the last slide I like to show is just the reserve history as per budget. So we just kind of see that we always are hovering in that $11, $12, $13 million. So I'll take any questions that council may have right now, or have any further discussion for the budget.
Okay, thank you, Director Vickers. Councillor Wing?
Thank you, Mayor Barclay, through to Director Vickers. Just a question for clarification on the reserves. Budgeted additions to reserves total, is that including the 2% increase that we're reflecting in our tax increase for our aquatic center?
Yes, Mayor Barclay, through to Councillor Wing, that is correct. So that shows all budget additions through the budget. Yes, all increases.
So, question, Director Vickers. We don't know what LGFF is going to be.
We do not.
That will be released in December. So I know this is supposed to come for approval next Monday, but should we be waiting until we know exactly what LGFF is? And I mean, that might be, I guess, I mean, what if it's $1 million? What if it's, we don't know, right?
Yes, Mayor Barclay, we are working on an estimate. So we were kind of given a formula to kind of go on where we get our calculation from. Basically, the last 3 years, if you add them all up together and average it out, that should be what we should be expecting. So that is kind of the number that we based it on. I would not recommend pausing the passing of the entire budget on that number. I would wait and let the budget go through based on your approval. And when that number does come out, we will have to bring to you a budget adjustment for that specific project versus waiting on the entire budget.
Okay. And then my other question, I don't know, we may see assessment growth, maybe it'll be more than, you know, it's been a mild winter so far, and so there may be more contingency than what we're thinking for 2023, and so you will come back, and if there is, maybe there's some things that we've cut could be added back in, providing we're not changing too much.
Absolutely. So when we get our final assessment numbers at the end of February, and I bring it for formal approval of the mill rates in March or April, then council can decide at that time, either we can not do a large of tax increase based on assessment growth, or we can choose to put some of these cut programs or cut projects back into the budget at that time, absolutely.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I think administration's done a great job the last several years. When I look at the mill rate increase over since 2016, it's gone up 10%, which is like 1.25% per year.
Yeah.
So it's been managed extremely well. Any other questions? Councillor Bates?
Yeah, I think you've answered it, sorry, with your building debt capacity chart, but I just wanted to confirm. So, and of course, anything past 2024 is us estimating, because when we do the budget next year, we'll lock them in. The 2% that we're budgeting for 2024, it becomes a hard number and stays in there as and rolls forward, that 2% plus whatever else we do, so that it becomes that 189,433. Is that?
Yes, Mayor Barclay through to Councillor Bates. So the increase to the transfer to reserve just for 2024 is 189, so
Right.
it becomes 399,000. Then next year, it rolls in, so an additional 189,
Right, but it doesn't
399.
stay as a 2% that could
No.
fluctuate up or down depending on assessment.
No, that
It becomes
number-
that hard number of
Yes.
180.
Yes, that total transfer to the facility reserve will become a hard number in the budget year after year going forward.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Straightforward. So we'll just have someone make the recommended motion then, please. Oh, sorry, Director Wing.
I would like to move, Mayor Barclay, that council directs administration to bring back the 2024 operating and capital budget for approval at the next regular council meeting.
Okay, thank you. I just want to ask Councillor Dunham, who, if he has anything to add.
I don't.
Okay.
No, actually, I was very happy with everything. We'd gone over the PowerPoint several times, or not several, but a couple times during budget deliberations. And then once they came back with the cuts, I was very satisfied with everything. So I'm good to go. Thank you for checking them out.
Okay, thanks. Didn't want to forget about you in Madeira.
No, thank you, Mayor Barclay.
Okay, all right, all in favor? All right, unanimous. Good job, Director Vickers. So we will move into correspondence and information. Just have somebody please make a motion that we accept this as information. Councillor Messaros.
I'll move that we accept this as information.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. And we'll move into roundtable, and we'll start with Councillor Heistad today.
This week I have a village meeting on the Wednesday. There's a town party on the 8th, as well as the holiday train. That's all I have for now, unless something else pops up. Thank you.
Perfect. Councillor Dunham?
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. Last week, we had the CED committee meeting. CAO Becker reviewed the roles and responsibilities of the CED committee members, and we discussed whether we were an advisory board or committee, and we landed on the fact that we were actually a committee. Manager Shaw went over several things, some of their key activities that they've been working on over the last while, and areas within the community. Some of them being highlighted was the demolition of the building on Main Street. There's a new commercial building going up that we're all very well aware of on down by Dairy Queen, etc. There was also some work done around issuing several new, or in particular 20 new rural renewal stream applications. Director Jenkins was absent, but we did get some information that they had attended the Reimagining Rural Economic Development Cooperative Innovation and Future of Our Communities Conference in Camrose and brought back some information. And we have tasked administration with bringing something back about cooperatives. Manager Shaw also tentatively booked all of our CED meeting dates for 2024, but obviously, depending on people's availability, they will be fluid. Manager Shaw also updated us on the CED tactical plan, several which are in progress and some are pending coming up. In particular, the property promotion program, sector investment profiles, the chamber and town working group, the investor survey, etc. As well. Sorry, bear with me. We also had a presentation from Eric from Factor 5 around the CED website. Was very happy with most of which they have brought back. I look forward to the next iteration and for us being able to provide a little bit more granular feedback on that in the near future. As well, this past weekend, the Innisfail Festival of Trees wrapped up on Saturday. It was very, very well attended, and very happy to report that we reached our goal for this year. We did approximately 2,000 more than last year, and we'll be distributing funds to the community. And that was all that was in my wheelhouse last week. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Councillor Messaros?
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. Well, I'm glad to go behind you, Councillor Dunham, for the Community Economic Development Committee. You did a great report. Aside from that, also attended the Festival of Trees and the Chamber Hometown Christmas on Saturday, which was a lot of fun and very well put together. And we'll be going to the Christmas party, the town Christmas party on Friday.
All right, thank you. And Councillor Wing?
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. So last Tuesday, I attended the Innisfail Public Library November board meeting. We welcomed 4 new directors and approved the 2024 to 2029 plan of service as presented to council last month. Pauline Wigg was re-elected as board chair, with Karina Lucas being elected as vice chair. Diane McKay will continue on as treasurer and chair of the finance committee. The board and administration have been reviewing, creating and rewriting policies for the last couple of meetings, and that will continue into the future. It's been engaging work and a good orientation for lots of the board members. We enjoyed several trips to the Festival of Trees and also attended Hometown Christmas and the Charity Check Stop on Saturday. Thank you to the many volunteers and organizations involved. That's definitely a day that takes a lot of dancing, and so I appreciate that. This evening is the annual Library Volunteer and Staff Potluck Dinner. Tomorrow, the Municipal Development Advisory Committee. Wednesday, a full day of training for the Subdivision Appeal Board. And I'm looking forward to Friday's visit from the holiday train and the town Christmas skating party and long service awards. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Bates?
So, yeah, last week I attended MPC, and yeah, we do have one project that's going to carry over to this week. I attended the virtual town hall with Alberta municipalities. The mayor did forward the slide deck from that, which covers it very well. I think the primary take that I got out of it is that the lobby for LGFF increase goes on strong. I thought, and perhaps the mayor could verify it, I thought I heard there was some inference that the LGFF could optimistically be bigger than, like, it could stay where it was last year, which was more than what was promised previously. But,
Well, there's a growth component to it, so I think on average it's about 25% less, but with the growth component added in, it's an extra 14%, so it's only down 9%. It's kind of what I have learned.
I thought there was some
Nobody knows what it's going to be.
potential that it could, like, because it stayed double last year from what it was promised, I think, at some point. There was some inference that it could be bigger than we think, but I guess we all hope. Other things they had in there was definitely encouraging us all to do the surveys that were out there for municipal government influence and council training, all those sort of things, if you'd done them. The other things I did was I attended the dinner theater, and did not disappoint, either the meal or the humorous, talented production from our local ITT. I also attended the Charity Check Stop, where I traded my food bank contributions for cat treats back from Purina, which is a generous donator to them to hand out. This week I'm planning to attend MPC. the MDP, which immediately follows it. I have the solid waste commission meeting, the one that happens twice a year, the holiday train, and the town awards and get together. I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So last week I had the South Central Mayors Group here in Innisfail. We welcomed Tyler Gandam, the President of Alberta Munis, VP of Towns Krista Gardner, and Alberta Muni Senior Director in Policy and Advocacy staff member Jeff Henwood. So the message from Tyler emphasized the importance of local government having a strong relationship with government at other levels. He spoke about this for some time, and the evolution and success of the Mid-Cities Mayor's Caucus and their ability to get in front of the Premier and MLAs is due to this excellent relationship. He also spoke about resolutions, and when they're put forward, they need to impact all municipalities. Talked about the Local Authorities Election Act survey, and to make sure we complete that as councillors, but also try to get other people interested in that as well. So councillors, when we complete that, if you say that you're an elected official, we have to put in the 3 first digits of our postal code, but when the general public completes that survey, there's no postal code required. Tyler was very supportive of a discussion around mid-sized towns asking for better representation at Alberta municipalities. He has offered up the resources of AB Munis to help develop a terms of reference and any other help that is needed to look at a mid-sized towns caucus going forward. We also spoke about a governance review for Alberta Muni board structure, and that has not been done since 2009. The Mayor's Group also spoke to the fact we want to be solutions-based and ensure a respectful and meaningful dialogue is taking place. It's not about us versus them. Rather, how do we ensure our needs are being heard? We then did a bit of a roundtable, and of course, everybody's in the middle of budget, or most people are. So tax increases I heard about were likely anywhere from 2 to 5%. Some did not really know yet, and quite frankly, everybody's struggling with the same kind of things we are, just to different degrees. As Councillor Bates mentioned, had an MPC meeting last week. There was a couple of applications. One was approved for a suite upstairs in a commercial building in the Central Business District. And then the second application has to come back for a little more clarification to us. Listened to the Alberta Munis Town Hall, and that was on the Local Authorities Election Act as well as LGFF. Attended the Rebels hockey game courtesy of ATCO, which was a very nice evening. Saturday took in the Hometown Christmas and Festival of Trees charity check stop. Councillor Dunham did a great job of talking about the CED meeting last week, Community Economic Development. I would just say that the one report that Manager Shaw brought forward, there's been 157 approvals with a total potential salary of $5.99 million through the rural renewal stream. And I believe he's had one applicant recently for the rural entrepreneur stream. So 66% of the candidates through the rural renewal stream are from outside of Canada. So there was a lot of discussion around the capacity within the community, from housing as to other supports. And, you know, if we're welcoming people to the community, how do we sure that we maintain them here? And then, of course, the update on the CD tactical plan, which Councillor Dunham spoke about. So that's all I have for today. And we'll go to upcoming events. Juanita. So I'll just have a motion to accept these events.
I'd like to make that motion.
Oh, thank you. All in favor? Carried. And then we'll have a motion to go in camera, please.
I'll make that motion to
Okay,
go on
thank you.
camera.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All in favor? Okay, thank you.